What is going on, my friends? Hank here, and today we're going to be turning this into this. When you're working on scale model figures, the devil is in the details, and it's really important to make sure that your figure's weapons are looking just as good as the rest of your build. So in this video, we're going to look at some really easy tricks to make your 135 scale figure's weapons really pop. With that said, let's hop over to the bench and jump right into it. Alright, so as you guys saw in the intro, we'll be looking at the German World War II Sturmgewehr 44 rifle for this demo. This wonderfully sculpted piece is from the new Tamiya late war German infantry set. It's a great one and I highly recommend checking it out. Now before doing any painting work, I always like to check my references ahead of time for a little inspiration. It's a great practice to get into to help guide your color decisions. This reference book is a really nice one. I'll include a link down in the description below, and of course you can always check out some reference images online as well. The body of the StG is nearly entirely made out of stamped metal, except for the wooden stock and grips, which is going to give us some really fun opportunities to check out some useful modeling tricks. To get started on painting here, as always, we're going to spray the entire piece with a coat of black primer. This will give us a nice solid base to work with, and in this particular case, it's going to be the first visible layer for the metal parts of our rifle. Once we're all primed up here, we're going to check out our first handy modeling technique, dry brushing. This is one of the oldest tricks in the book, but one of the most useful. And all we're going to do here is take some of our white aluminum metallic paint, load up our brush, and then wipe nearly all of that paint off on a paper towel. And what that's going to do is leave just the smallest amount of wet paint left on the brush. Now we can take our rifle and carefully brush over all of the metal parts. And this is going to highlight just the raised portions of the sculpt and leave the recessed bits black. And in doing so, it gives us a nice metallic sheen and helps accentuate all those lovely details. Alright, so we're looking pretty great already. Next step, let's paint up our stock and grips. I'm going to use this German camo medium brown to start, and we'll use this nice fine tip brush to give us some really solid control. All we need to do here is carefully paint up our stock, and be careful not to overpaint onto the stamped metal portions of the rifle. This is one of those times where reference images definitely come in handy. Once the stock is all set, we can move up to those nicely gnarled pistol grips, and we're just going to very delicately brush those in. On some German World War II weapons, like the MP40, these grips were actually made of a synthetic resin called bakelite or margalite, but as far as I could tell from the research, the StG grips were still wooden. Alright, once our wooden bits are all filled in, we're going to grab this light rust wash and add a little depth to that stock and to these grips. This adds a very subtle orangey oiled finish to our wooden bits, so that once it all dries, they get this nice weathered look. Okay, for another step on our stock here, we're going to take some dark rust, this is just a nice deep brown, and we're going to grab an old pigment brush like this one here that's got some frayed bristles. And with this, we're just going to very gently graze that brush over our stock from front to back to create some really subtle lines on there. And these are going to help represent the natural grain on the wood. Really subtle stuff, but a nice touch. Okay, so the last actual painting step. The rear of the StG buttstock has these little metal brackets on the top and bottom, so we're just going to carefully paint those in right now with some flat black. Wonderful. Okay, so now that our painting process is done, we're going to spray our rifle with a coat of gloss primer to help seal in all of our work so that we can move on to a bit of weathering. Once that clear coat dries, we're going to break out our trusty enameled dark wash and brush some of this all over the weapon. I love this stuff because it gives everything a nice, oiled, grimy look. This also balances out that really stark aluminum dry brushing that we did back in the beginning, and it looks a lot better now, right? Alright, so getting close to the end now. Once our dark wash is totally dry, we're going to spray the whole rifle with another gloss clear coat. And then as a final touch here, we're going to take some gunmetal pigment and just carefully brush that on the metal parts of our rifle. And just like that, you've got yourself a beautiful 135 scale version of this groundbreaking assault rifle to add to your next figure project. If you'd like to check out some more helpful scale modeling tips, you can do so right here. And until next time, my friends, be well, happy building, cheers.